Well, the time has finally come to cure the pain. Ho! The time has finally come to cure the pain. What up, guys? Your old pal Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. Thanks for coming back for some more popcorn. It's another installment of
Year of the Max.
Sorry, it's been a minute since I put out a video. I just had a bunch of things with life coming up, and you know how it is right now during COVID and everything. Everything's getting in the way. But I tell you one thing that didn't get in the way today: the Justice League Snyder Cut. Ho-ho! Normally I do a review the next day after watching the movie, have some time to let it sit. But after sitting and watching 4 hours of this mofo, I decided to just go ahead and do it now. Fred! Well, first off, thank you so much, Zack Snyder, for making this thing. Now I can get this one out of here. Well, it was 4 hours long, but it was really worth it and it was good and it didn't really drag. If any of you saw the original Justice League movie, or as I like to call it, the Whedon cut, you probably were either disappointed or just kind of on it.
But I'm also a big fan of justice.
Well, so was I. After movies like Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, man, it was just such a letdown and it didn't feel like it finished off anything. Yeah, I realized that Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman are kind of polarizing with audiences. Some people love those movies and some people hate them. I'm personally on the side that really love that approach. I like Man of Steel a little bit better than Batman vs. Superman, but I still think they're really good movies. In fact, I think that they got a bad rap. Yeah, they were a little darker and a little more mature than you were expecting from comic book films at that time, but I still think that they were well done, and I like it when you see something you hadn't always seen done before, and that's what they did with those movies. Zack Snyder's vision was a little different than what we had been seeing. And the fact that after he got let go or fired or quit, however you want to call it after all those shenanigans, that's another video. But by the time it got to the one we saw in the theaters, it was nothing like Man of Steel or Batman vs. Superman. Not in tone, not even in continuity. And immediately when you see this movie from the beginning, it feels like it's continuing from Batman vs. Superman, which is what you wanted. That was the whole idea. So just real quick, I'm not gonna spoil anything about this movie. I'm not gonna give anything away. This is spoiler free. I'm just gonna give you my thoughts and how it made me feel. Overall, I liked it. I thought it was really well done. 4 hours is a little bit of a stretch. That's a little too long, but if you've ever seen like the Watchmen director's cut, it's the same thing. It's almost 4 hours long. It's very long. Zack Snyder is a visual storyteller, and sometimes you can kind of tell that he slightly may lose himself a little bit telling the story visually because he's so good at it. All of his camera shots are top notch. Everything slow motion wise, all that stuff, it's beautiful to look at. It's almost addictive to look at. But I will say that some scenes here and there could have been just trimmed, if you know what I mean, just to make it a little shorter than 4 hours. But I'll take that any day over the Whedon cut. It's a way more polished film. Like I said, Zack Snyder's a beautiful visual storyteller, and it does a really good job at making you care about the characters and what's going on in this movie. The Whedon cut, you didn't give two shits about what was going on about anybody because they were just shoehorning everything in. You didn't even have time to get used to what was going on or even care about the severity of what was going on because before you got used to the characters on screen, they were switching to the next scene. This movie actually explains who these characters are without you having to see solo films. It just does a better job of making you care about what's going on and the people involved in the movie. One of the things the Whedon cut tried to do, and the reason they switched gears from the tone that Zack Snyder had from the previous two films, is they tried to make it all like comic book looking and gimmicky. Everything was brighter. Wonder Woman's suit was brighter. Superman's suit was brighter. Aquaman's suit was brighter, even though it was the same suit that was in Batman vs. Superman. It's still brighter. And this, it goes back to that Zack Snyder tone, which I think is more mature, and it kind of makes it more believable. It makes it heavier. You feel the weight of it. The Whedon cut just felt like a bubblegum movie. Don't get me wrong, there are parts of that movie I like. There are lines in that movie I like, some lines that make me laugh, things like that. But I think the characters overall are way better displayed in Zack Snyder's version than the Whedon cut. I mean, it's not just a little better, it's like so much better. And the best thing about the film, they got rid of the lip. Superman's lip looks great in this. In fact, all the CGI in this is really good. Steppenwolf looks way better. The villain of Steppenwolf is just better all the way around. They make him scary. It's really violent. They drop a few F-bombs in there too, but yeah, there's blood and gore all over the place, mostly from Steppenwolf. But if you remember in the Whedon cut, he just looked weird, like some sort of marshmallowy weird goblin. And this one, he's actually threatening. But in all honesty, I said my favorite part was the lip. Seriously, my favorite part about this movie is that you really care about everybody and everything you hated about the Whedon cut. is gone from this movie. The music is way better. It's actually continued on from Junkie XL, the guy who did the music with Hans Zimmer in Batman vs. Superman and was supposed to do the music for the Justice League, but when Warner Brothers switched their gears, they got Danny Elfman to do it. Don't get me wrong, great composer, but come on, man, gotta keep the same tone. His score just didn't work well for that film, in my opinion. The score in this works really good. One little complaint that I have, outside of it just being a little too long and they could have tightened it up, I don't like that they use songs so much. Zack Snyder has this habit of using like classic rock songs or like modern day sort of like hippie folk songs in moments of the film where normally it would be like a score or something that would make it sound more serious, you know, but that's my opinion. Doesn't ruin the movie by any means. That's just a little tiny preferential thing. And we get to see the black suit, which is awesome. But everything as a whole is just conveyed so much better. There's more emotion. Lois Lane is way better in this. Her whole role involvement in the entire storyline is just way more believable. It's just better. Same thing with Martha Kent. It's just way better. You can take it seriously, where you couldn't take the Whedon cut seriously at all. Yeah, that's what I think of the Whedon cut. Look, if you're a comic book fan and you're a DC fan and you were especially disappointed with the Whedon cut, I can almost guarantee you're gonna enjoy this. It is 4 hours long, but it is set up in a way to where you could stop it and finish it the next day or something if you wanted. Just watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're somebody that didn't like Man of Steel or Batman vs. Superman, you're not just gonna magically all of a sudden like this movie, because it's still that tone. It's still Zack Snyder's vision he had going already in those two movies, just carried over and finally finished. But if you got HBO Max, I say it's definitely worth giving a shot. Personally, for me, being the nerd that I am, I give it an A. Not an A+, because I think it could have been a little shorter and there's one or two little just tweaks I would have made. But as a whole, a great way to correct the course, just kind of fix what was messed up, and it was a great way to please all the fans. So Zack Snyder, thank you so much. I love you. And one more thing I want to say about the movie. There's a lot of cool little tidbit things that they just throw in there that you could tell that Zack Snyder really had in mind and wanted to do for some upcoming films. But I guess we'll just never see that come to light. Or who knows, maybe we will. We never know with Warner Brothers. Well, that'll do it again for this quickie this time, guys. Just wanted to give you my thoughts on the Justice League Snyder Cut. Hit the like button if you enjoyed watching it. Look for BrassReel Brothers on Facebook. Look for Bobby Williams on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, BrassReel Bobby at BrassReel. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can help us make it to the top. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh popcorns. Oh!